Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. The first topic, just by way of revision, in the 5th chapter is a comparison of Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga. So, where Lord Krishna attempts to set straight Arjuna's confusion. So Arjuna's confusion is between the lifestyle of giving up everything. He focuses on the lifestyle rather than the knowledge, and therefore he's just the whole Karma Yoga does not make sense. Actually, this is true for all of us. When Karma Yoga starts to make sense, by the time the person is close to Jnanam, whereas Karma Yoga is supposed to be a preparation for Atma Jnanam. But by the time it starts to make sense, the person is, already studying a lot, has been studying a lot. This is because there is a resistance to doing what needs to be done. What needs to be done immediately brings out the rebel in everybody. Even the mildest person rebels. Why? Because who are you to tell me what needs to be done? No, it's not me, it is, let's say you say it is Ishvara. Who is Ishvara? It's the flow of the universe. Who is the flow? What is the flow of the universe? And what does it have to do to me? And it has nothing to do with me. So there is no flow, there is no nothing. And so like this, there is a resistance. This resistance, of course, is caused by Atma Ajnanam. That's the only, we are a one-trick pony in Vedanta. Like a pony means like a horse that knows only how to perform one trick. This is what Vedanta is. Why? Because any problem, what is the cause of this problem? What do we say? Ajnanam, Atma Ajnanam. We don't have any other tricks up the sleeve. That's the only thing. What is the cause of this? Self-ignorance. What is the cause of that? Self-ignorance. Why is this happening? Self-ignorance. That's our only go-to. So here, the self-ignorance which morphs into Raga-dvesha. There is always a conflict between what I want to do and what I have to do. And the conflict is because what I want to do is powered by my own agenda. What I have to do appears to be powered by somebody else's agenda, even though it is, let's say, my own job. But there is a boss there, there is some supervisor there, and so therefore there is this feeling of, I don't want to do this. This is not my thing. What I want to do is completely separate, and what I want to do is, this is what I want to do, this is me, this is my raga, this is my dvesha. These are my sets of preferences, these are my sets of prejudices, and I am going to follow accordingly. That's why Karma Yoga does not, that is the first reason why there is Karma Yoga allergy. The second reason for Karma Yoga allergy is when the Vedanta teacher says that Karma Yoga cannot be accomplished without the awareness and bringing in Ishvara. One has to be a bhakta to be a Karma Yogi. And then what does the Jiva say? Forget it. Who is this Ishvara? Where is this Ishvara? Nobody knows. And then you want me to be beholden to somebody, even though this is not about being beholden, but this is how it sits in the heart. This is how it sits in the heart. I want to do whatever I want to do. Where did this, the first reason to resist Karma Yoga. The second reason to resist Karma Yoga is who is this Ishvara? Where did he or she come from? And why do I have to offer all my actions to some unknown entity who I have no idea? I mean, why should I offer my actions? Why should I have Ishvararpana Buddhi? What am I going to get out of this? So these were all described at length in chapter 2 when we discussed the verse 47 about what is samatvam, what is yoga karma sukaushalam, samatvam, all these things were discussed. Karma yoga was discussed there at length, but it is not enough. It is happily forgotten by chapter 5, and then there is also there could be some residual resistance about following it. And then the third reason why Karma Yoga there is resistance is because of the obfuscation between a lifestyle and a technique. We are all technique oriented. That's why everybody loves pranayama. You are asked to breathe in certain ways, close off one nostril, open the other. Wonderful. Because I know exactly what I have to do. And who am I? Doer. Love it. No problem. But then, this is not, Karma Yoga ain't a technique. It is not a technique. There is no such technique called Karma Yoga. Just like there is a technique called pranayama. There is no such technique. Karma Yoga cannot be a technique. It is not a technique. It is the attitude. It's an attitudinal change. It's an attitude through which the karma is done. Every action is done with which attitude? That is called Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is not a specific action or a technique. So for these three reasons, there is a resistance to Karma Yoga. And if we look at all these three reasons closely, the first reason is that Karma Yoga I'm allergic to Karma Yoga. Why? Because I want to do something and then I have to do something else. And that causes a lot of irritation because I want to quickly get to do what I want to do. And so I hurry up with what I have to do a shoddy, haphazard job so that I can quickly get to the place of what I want to do. This is the problem. So, the antidote to the first resistance is to see through the mind's eye, through the eyes of objectivity and wisdom, that it is eminently in one's interest to grow from a person who does as he or she likes to a person who likes whatever needs to be done. This is a tremendous growth. If you are interested in growth, self-growth, emotional maturity, this is it. To grow from a person who does as they please or who wants to do as he or she pleases, who are accustomed to searching for ways to do whatever they like, to grow from such a person to a person that likes whatever needs to be done. that enjoys whatever needs to be done. This is tremendous growth. Because one grows into a person who is much more malleable, not so rigid, much more malleable, much more flexible, much more in harmony with oneself and others. With oneself and others. And also, if we adopt this kind of a growth pattern, then there is more peace in one's life. There is more peace, there is less conflict. One is in tandem with the flow that is Ishvara. Ishvara is the flow. Ishvara is not directing the flow. Ishvara is in the form of the flow. And if you ask, what is this flow? It is dharma. Dharma means the universal matrix of norms which cannot be litigated, which have to be on a day-to-day level. It's like an unwritten rule which I follow, which you follow, which everybody follows. It's just basic common sense. I don't want to have lot of noise and music and loud things when I go to sleep. So then what do I know about you? You also may not like that. So therefore I'm not going to blast the music at 10 o'clock on the day that I want to be awake. Why? Because I full well know that if I keep doing that, then what will happen? You will also do the same thing to me. Now the shoe is on the other foot. Nobody likes that. Nobody likes the shoe to be pinching on the other foot. One exactly is in the same situation. So therefore, one practices common courtesy, common decency, and a shared lifestyle of being able to cohabit, to coexist together in harmony. That is why one has this kind of a lifestyle. So then this is the antidote to the first objection, that what about my likes and dislikes? Because where have those likes and dislikes taken you? And meanwhile they are changing all the time. Where have they taken you? Not many places, really. So here one is growing out of that rigidity. Rigidity is equal to misery, really. When I am unable to bend, I will definitely break. It's much easier to bend. It's much easier in terms of a coping mechanism to be flexible than to be rigid, simply because this is common sense. Forget Ishvara, forget all that, it's common sense. I do not control the results of action. Simple. Anyhow you look at it. I don't control the results of action, so what choice do I have? I don't have much choice. Even if I refrain from acting, it's a kind of an action anyway. Refraining from acting is also action. It's not inaction, as we saw in chapter 4, verse number 16 or 18 maybe, 18. So, karmani akarma yaf pashyet. So like this, just because I say I refuse to choose, that is not inaction. That is also an action. It's a default action. Therefore, when I look upon everything as dharma, when I look at it through the eyes of dharma, then naturally I am on a program of self-growth. Because there are many things I want to do, but they are not dharmic. They are not dharmic. They are not okay. Why? Because whatever I want happens to belong to somebody else. I can't just say I want it and I snatch it and I go, because somebody else is the owner of it. So therefore I have to be mindful of other people's rights and privileges. In this process there is growth. So therefore Karma Yoga, again the Bhagavad Gita presents Karma Yoga in many places. 5th chapter is a lovely reiteration of the Karma Yoga, and then whenever it presents Karma Yoga and Dharma, it presents Dharma as Ishvara. Dharma is not an order or a mandate of Ishvara, it's a manifestation of Ishvara. And when I look at it this way, then Dharma is part of a universal order. Very beautiful. Which I follow, not that I follow dharma for others. I follow dharma for my own peace and sanity. The more dharma I follow, the more less conflict there is, the more in harmony with everything, the more in tandem with everything I am. So that is the first thing taken care of. And what was the second objection? Why bring in Ishvara? Why bring in Ishvara? Because we need a karta. We are not the karta. We need a karta. Why not bring in the significant other as the karta? Because already the significant other is blamed enough. Okay? So if you say the significant other is the karta, then the blame game will increase. So therefore you don't bring in the significant other as karta, or your child as karta, or your mother and father as karta. Who is the karta? We bring in Ishvara. And even though there may not be any feeling, and then there may not be any bhakti, yet it's still a nascent bhakti. In these halls, many a devotee is born. Yes, many a devotee is born in the halls of ashram. Delivery of the devotee takes place on a regular basis. Devotees are born. Devotees are made. Why? Because even though one grows up with a religious background, this is not something that can be taught by religion. It's very interesting. You have to transcend religion in order to appreciate Ishvara. How funny. But this is the truth. You have to transcend the trappings of religion, because the religion is what? A series of rules. Do this, do that, sit here, sit there, offer this, offer that, get up, and then do one namaskara, get up again, do this, do that, sit down. We saw what happened yesterday. It was a lot of all this. Put this here, put that there, drink a sip of that, drink a lot of this, sit here, stand there, all these things. It's called iti kartavyata. These are the rules. The rules are also there for a purpose. But the person is divorced from the purpose. Who remembers the purpose? Nobody remembers the purpose. Even if you ask your parents why I have to do this, they will say, just because I told you so. They will all say that. And if you ask their parents, they will say, we don't know. Our parents told us to do this, that is why we are doing this. So even though one may have been brought up in a very religious family with a lot of chanting, puja, this, that, to understand the meaning of all this and to say hello to Ishvara, to get to know Ishvara, one has to transcend all that and come to the second portion, Jnana Kanda. Because the reason for this is because Ishvara is not is not something in our tradition, a matter of belief. Nothing to believe. Because Ishvara is something to understand as the truth of myself. That Ishvara is me alone. But how to understand this? That's why in the beginning we allow that duality, which is called the last frontier of duality, Bhakta Ishvara, Guru Shishya, last frontier of duality. We allow that temporary interim duality until it is all erased by the knowledge. So therefore we need a karta, because if I take myself to be the karta, I am in doldrums. Terrible, depression. Why? Because there is guilt, there is hurt. Hurt is omissions and commissions of other people towards me. Why didn't this person do this to me? Why did this person do this to me? And that is hurt, where I identify as a victim. Again, a very powerless place. And then guilt is where I identify as the doer, as the author, as the agent of action, and then being fallible, eminently fallible, whatever I have done is never ideal at all. Whatever I have done, I don't like. I have regrets. Why did I do this? Why couldn't I have been more mindful? Why did I have to get myself into this situation? This is the problem. So this being the problem, therefore, the antidote to Ishvara allergy is to just tell oneself, that, what the parents told, especially if one was a fussy eater. I don't want this on my plate, whatever this is. What will generally the parents say? You have to try it. You have to try it. You taste and see. Don't say, I don't want, even after just looking at it. You won't know. Because the eyes are not the pramana for the food, okay? Not the whole pramana anyway. The test is the taste. So what would the parents tell all their children? You have to try it. You have to try it before you say no. You have to try it sometimes for 2-3 times in a row. Then only you see. And so here also we have to say, I am going to try it. What do I have to lose except self-ignorance? This is nice. I don't have to lose anything. I don't have to lose anything. Even if I roll my eyes, all right, Ishvara is the doer. Even if I go like that, it's okay. It's worth trying. All right. Fine, Ishvara is the author, big deal, all right. All right, I'll even offer the action. All right, take it, here is my action. Even if you do it from a sense of resistance and disbelief, it will still work. Really, this is magic. It's absolute magic. So the antidote to the second, what is that? The second difficulty, the second source of karma yoga allergy is to just fake it and make it, really. Force yourself to do it. No, but I'm inauthentic, as though you're authentic all the time. Yeah, give me a break, yeah. As though you're authentic all the time, 24/7, 365, you're being your authentic self. Yeah, so how many times do you smile when you don't feel like? How many times do you say hello when the person in front of you would like to dispatch them somewhere right now? Yeah. Don't tell me you're authentic all the time. That's not correct. That's not authentic to say that you're authentic all the time. So here you think you're deliberately being inauthentic. You're not. Actually, this is your authentic. The authenticity lies in connecting to that. And the yearning is to connect to that one source, to be one with everything. So some kind of a exercise is needed here to get past the resistances. So then the resistance is to understand to this Ishvara. The resistance is not to Ishvara. The resistance is to the notion of Ishvara that has been fed to you. That is the resistance. It's like whatever Ishvara has been told, it has to be believed. And in every religion we have some nonsensical thoughts. What is that? If you don't do this, Ishvara will get angry. Bhagavan will get angry. If Bhagavan gets angry, we are done, I tell you. Yeah, there will be instant pralaya. Yeah, Bhagavan getting angry means recalling the whole universe back unto itself. So there will be instant pralaya, we are done. So Bhagavan does not get angry. Why? Bhagavan does not have a head. Inside the head, the anger takes place. So Bhagavan does not have antahkarana. Head means antahkarana. The inner instrument is not there. Mind, ahankara, all these things are not there. It is knowledge. It is all knowledge without a head. Can you even imagine that? This is Bhagavan. All knowledge without a head, all power without a body. It is fascinating. Kritsnam jnanam, complete knowledge, total knowledge, but without a container. If there is no container, how much knowledge is it? Limitless knowledge, boundless knowledge. And if there is no container, there is no manaha, sankalpa, vikalpatmika. Sankalpa, vikalpatmika means all the time changing the mind. If Bhagavan had a mind you, then he would be playing, she would be playing with our lives. Oh, shall I give this person a promotion? Sure, tathastu. Oops, no, I changed my mind. Withdraw the promotion. Oh, poor thing, I already gave it to the person, must be expecting tathastu. Okay, oh, but yesterday this person did not do puja. Okay, rescind it immediately. This is what would happen. Already our lives are like what? Yo-yo. And then this would be like yo-yo, double yo-yo. So, but thankfully it's not like that. Thankfully, that which doesn't have a head does not have ragadveshas. Nairgrinya doshaha is not there. For Bhagavan, Adi Shankara explains this in the Bhashya to chapter 2 in the commentary. Nairgrinya dosha means the fallacy of partiality, the fallacy of finding one pleasing and the other one annoying. If Bhagavan was an extension of us, just with a bigger ego, then we are all in trouble. Who do we pray to? No one. Who do we look for as a role model? No one. Who do we invoke? No one. So therefore, if this much we can understand, that it's all knowledge without a container. It's the container that is flawed, not the knowledge. The container flawed means finite. The container is what makes everything finite. Like this upadhi. This is a limited upadhi. Finite upadhi. The finite upadhi is full of problems. But the infinite upadhi, the upadhi which is really not really a container, it is just knowledge not personified into a body, mind, sense complex. That means there are no raga, no dveshas. That means there is no partiality. It just is. It is a flow. It is a flow that is knowledge. It is a flow that is dharma. And then the yearning of my heart is where? To either to go contrary to the flow or to join the flow. We have to ask ourselves an honest question. Not even to join the flow, to be one with the flow. The yearning is to be one with everything. The flow means the source. Above all, the yearning is to be one with the source. And this being the case, then what happens here? I have to go an extra step here and say, all right, I will entertain the notion of Ishvara because I have nothing to lose and I am going to try it out. How do I entertain the notion of Ishvara? You can just say, all right, today I am dedicating all my actions to you, whoever you are. I don't know who you are. I don't know where you are. They say you are all over the place. And they say you are all knowledge, so you must be knowing all languages. So in your own language you can tell like this. And so here I am, and I am suffering from what? From finitude. I am suffering because of this big head of mine filled with nonsense. And they say you can take it away. So show me how you can take it away. Take away a little bit. Give me some relief. Give me some relief from the pressure of the ragadveshas pressing on the head, pressing on the heart, closing myself completely because of some kind of one experience of difficulty, one act of distrust has made me distrust everybody and everything for life. And then you can even go one step further. You can tell Ishvara, and you know what? It is all your fault. You tell Ishvara that. I didn't ask to be born. So who is in charge of my birth? You. Who is in charge of my parentage? You. Who is in charge of all the difficulties that happened to me in childhood? Who else? You. You can tell that. In our tradition, it's not blasphemy. In our tradition, it is the building blocks of prayer. It's very beautiful. When you learn to pray like that, it is extremely beautiful. So, therefore, we have this Ishvara awareness. The awareness of Ishvara in my actions, in the result of action, is a very intimate way to connect to this Ishvara. Far cry from sitting in front of an altar and then doing puja with the mind all over the place. Or even more remote, telling the priest to do puja and I am standing behind the priest who is standing in front of Bhagavan, who is standing like that. So they're even more remote. This Karma Yoga is the most intimate form of prayer that we will ever encounter, and it's the master stroke of the Upanishads. And what are the dravyas I need for this prayer? Nothing. Dravyas means material. Do I have to go buy flowers? No. Do I have to do that, what is that? Do I need a bell? No. Do I need a incense stick? No. Do I need offerings? No. Other than myself, nothing is needed. Do I need arati to show some kind of a camphor lamp? No, I don't. This is a puja which is so sacred, so holy, so complete that I don't need any accoutrements of worship. All I need is myself, my own presence, limited as it is, because I do not know I am, as yet I do not know I am limitless. So all I can bring to this puja, quote unquote puja, is my presence. Just my presence. And what is this presence? It's a flawed presence, full of raga dvesha, full of wrong conclusions about the world, about myself, about Ishvara. I can only bring that. And even that is a wonderful vessel of puja. It's considered a wonderful vessel. Why? Because it is authentic, it is sincerely brought. And when it is sincerely brought, and you, even if you don't believe it, like I said, you roll your eyes and say, whoever you are, okay, I'm offering my actions to you. This, I am not doing this, I'm going to drag you in as a proxy actor, you are doing this. There is already a little space between oneself and the action that one is about to undertake. And the pressure of perfectionism, this ghoul of perfectionism leaves the head. Why? Because Ishvara is doing it. Ishvara is already perfect, so I don't have to worry. Let it go on however it is. The pressure to be perfect, the pressure to just excel, the pressure to be a certain way departs. It is just so beautiful. That is one of the things that it does. And then the second thing that happens is that there is an inner transformation. There is an inner transformation because whenever there is a wish or a desire and I haven't acted upon that, there is pain. But here I am acting upon that desire by vocalizing it, by verbalizing it. I am saying, I don't know who you are and I don't know why I am doing this, but I am offering my actions. And if I am offering my actions, then you need to receive it. This is my offering, this is my naivedya. My naivedya is my own actions, flawed as they are, full of raga dvesha they are, but here, what are you? You are like a washing machine. And if I put my actions full of raga dvesha, you will clean them out. I know that. You will clean it out naturally, because that's what you are, that's what you do. And then the results of action also. With regard to the action, there is a certain little space in the heart, and with regard to the results of action also, there is a little space in the heart. There is no guilt and hurt. Whatever has come from Ishvara. And since Ishvara has no partiality, whatever has come is my own karma, gift wrapped by Bhagavan. Bhagavan takes the karma puts a gift wrap and puts the finger there where you have to tie the bow. You tell your friend when you're packing a present, put your finger there so that nicely you can tie the bow. That's all Bhagavan does. It's your own karma, gift wrapped, coming back to you. And then when I receive it with that awareness, what? The prasada buddhi. First is what? Ishwararpana buddhi, and then the other component of karma yoga, what did we see yesterday? Prasada buddhi. When that prasada is there, prasada means cheerfulness, it really means that. Prasada, prasida, same. Prasida means be happy. So prasada is that which I receive cheerfully, no matter what happens. I learn to receive the prasada with a certain space. It is nice. So this is how to overcome Ishvara allergy, the second resistance towards karma yoga that one has. What else is left? What is the third resistance? Lifestyle? Yeah, no, the confusion is there. The confusion is between the ends and the means. That is the resistance. That is Arjuna's resistance. We already saw that. Between the ends and the means. The end goal of life is not sannyasa, is Atma Jnanam, for which one has to give up ragadveshas. That one can do as a grihastha or as a sannyasi. How you do it doesn't matter. That is the lifestyle. That we have already resolved. Yesterday we talked about it at length. And so therefore, Karma Yoga becomes very, very important, and that's why nearly every chapter in the Bhagavad Gita talks about it, hoping that one will get it at least by the end of the Bhagavad Gita. One has some idea of, not only idea of Karma Yoga, but one has, like a fledgling bird, one is ready to leave the needam. Needam means nest of ragadvesha and fly away by trying out its wings. That is the hope here. So let us go further with this understanding. So that confusion resolved, these three confusions resolved, then let us see, because it has some very beautiful verses. So then we saw the second topic. What was the second topic? The second topic is the nature of the Atma as akarta, which cannot be got without dedicating the actions to Ishvara. It cannot be had. You cannot bypass the steps, just like you cannot get a PhD without going to school first. So you can't do that. Similarly, without consciously inviting Ishvara into one's life, dedicating the actions to Ishvara, learning to receive the results of action as cheerfully as possible as prasada buddhi, one cannot grow to understand oneself as a non-doer. This is just not possible. So here, the verses 7, 8 and 9 and talk about this non-doer. How this non-doer is and what this non-doer is all about is talked about. How? Because even though the person is eating, drinking, watching, going, coming, nothing happens. The person is an akarta personified. Why is the person akarta personified? Because the person knows that these actions are being happening because the eyes are there, because the hands are there, because the legs are there. I am not the doer. So now verse number 10 says that, if you don't know what verses 8 and 9 said, we need to go back one notch down and then start. What is that? Brahmani adhaya karmani sangan tyaktva karoti yaha lipyatena sapapena padmapatram ivambhasa. So if you don't know how to be akarta, The akartritvam was pointed out in great detail. But if you don't know how to be this akarta, how to understand that you are not the doer, Brahmani adhaya karmani. Brahmani here means in Brahman. What is this Brahman? Ishvara. Put all your actions in Ishvara, and then what? Leave the raga dvesha. Sangam tyaktva karoti yaha. Keep doing this as a practice, as a spiritual practice, as an intimate spiritual practice where you have one-on-one with Ishvara. This is the only way to have one-on-one with Ishvara. And then what happens? Lipyate nasa papena. Even if you do actions not very perfectly, as long as you are doing the action with Ishvara awareness and following dharma, both are important. Otherwise the pickpocket will say, I have just prayed to Bhagavan. What is the pickpocket's prayer? Har pocket mein hariyali rahe. In every pocket may every pocket book be lined with greenery. That is the prayer of the pickpocket. And then the pickpocket embarks upon the day. Is this karma yoga? No. Even though Ishvara is involved here, it is not karma yoga. Why? Because there is no dharma. There is absolutely no dharma. So you can't do adharmic actions, because adharmic actions are what? Adharmic actions are, because dharma is what? Ishvara. Adharmic actions are going against Ishvara. So you cannot go against Ishvara in order to please Ishvara. It will be like that person who was caught long time back in somewhere in Delhi, and what was he doing? He was selling ice cream to the children, school children who would come out during the break, during recess. They would come out and buy the ice cream with their pocket money, and then there were other ice cream sellers too. But very soon the children, elementary school children, 7, 8, 9 years old, they all only wanted ice cream from him, from this particular seller, because there were some addictive drugs in there. So he wanted to become most popular, so he got all young children addicted to God only knows what, and then all the children were behaving strangely. Many of them had allergic reactions and behavioral issues and everything. It was very sad. And then they launched an investigation, tested the ice cream and found that it contained drugs. And then when he was caught, he said, oh, doesn't matter, I was planning to donate all the money from the ice cream to an orphanage that I was building in my village. This is exactly how it is. You can't do this. You cannot go against, you see, you cannot go against dharma in order to please Ishvara, because that means you are going against Ishvara to please Ishvara. This doesn't make any sense. So therefore it is said, Sangam tyaktva karoti yaha. Even though it is imperfectly done, as long as it follows dharma, what happens? Lipyate nasapapena, is not afflicted by wrongdoing. Like what? Like the lotus standing in muddy waters without having even a drop of mud on it. Pure. The heart is pure because the intentions are pure. And then praising the karma yogis, verse number 11, which is again very beautiful, says, Kayena manasa buddhya. Let's chant this. Kayena manasa buddhya. Kevalairindriyairapi. Yoginah karma kurvanti. Sangam tyaktvatma shuddhaye. 12. Yuktah karma phalam tyaktva. Shantim apnoti naishtikim. Ayuktah kamakarena. Phalet sakto nibadhyate. 11 and 12, very beautiful verses. Kagena manasa buddhya. So, yoginaha. Yoginaha means what kind of yogis? Karma yogis. not people who are doing yogasanas, karma yogis. So the karma yogis, karma kurvanti, they perform action. The yogis who are adept karma yogis are performing action how? Kayena, physically, manasa, mentally, buddhya, with the use of the intellect. How do they perform the action? Sangam tyaktva, without any regard for the result of action. No regard for the result of action, because why bother when I know I don't control the result of action? Why bother trying to do this? If I want something, then I can convert that want into prayer and say, look, I have performed this action, please give me this result. I can pray, but that's all I can do. And so these people know that, so they become adept at performing action, not without expecting result. That's wrong. They perform action without attachment to what comes. They expect a result. How can you perform action without expecting result? Nobody can do that. They do expect a result, but when that expectation is not met, or when the outcome is not in keeping with the expectation, they are able to adjust their expectation and yet remain cheerful. This is this is how the yogis do it. So yogis do karma for the sake of what? What is their only expectation? Antahkarana shuddhi. And that happens like normally happens. Antahkarana shuddhi happens on its own. Because if I am giving up raga dveshas, antahkarana shuddhi is taking place. I am going through the spin cycle in the laundry machine. Going like this. All the raga dveshas are going like this. They are being cleaned. And so, this is the yogi's vision. The karma yogi's vision, and the phala of karma yoga is also given because what is the phala of karma yoga? Atma shuddhi. Atma shuddhi, not that the atma needs to be cleaned. Atma here means antahkarana. The raga dveshas are cleansed. But then there are some diehards who are remaining. And what will they say? I don't want to do karma yoga. If I don't do, what will happen? That is what verse number 12 addresses. Verse number 12 addresses what happens when you don't do. First, what happens when you do, and second line, what happens when you don't do. Yuktaha karma phalam tyaktva shantim apnoti naishtikim. Naishtikim shantim. Naishtikim means the nishtha based shanti. The shanti that is based on the lifestyle of karma yoga they get. Yuktaha means karma yogena yuktaha. The one who is endowed with karma yoga, karma phalam tyaktva, disregarding, giving up the penchant for the result of action, giving up the desire for result of action, shantim apnoti, gains a lot of harmony in life. Is not in conflict all the time. Conflict between what I want and what I get, conflict between one and the other. You get everything what you want, I don't get what I want, and those kinds of conflicts, conflict between oneself and Bhagavan, conflict between oneself and the universe, the Jagat, is not there. Finally, one can put the cudgels away. One doesn't continue to have to be like the apasmara. Who is apasmara? Don't say Dakshinamurti is apasmara, okay? Yeah. Who is apasmara? The one underneath Dakshinamurti, who haunts the unconscious mind, which haunts in the form of unresolved stuff. That is apasmara. And so, therefore, yuktaha karma phalam tyaktva shantim apnoti naishtikim. Naishtikim means a lifestyle based shanti. Meaning, if I give up the lifestyle, shanti will also go bye-bye. So, this is a lifestyle based shanti, means it's a temporary cessation of all the raga dvesha based anger, fear, and the tumult and restlessness of the mind is not there. With Karma Yoga, there is instant peace, there is instant harmony with everybody else and with oneself. This is just wonderful. Okay, I'm still not going to buy into Karma Yoga. What will happen? And the second line obligingly tells us what will happen. Ayuktaha, if one is not endowed with the commitment to Karma Yoga, Kamakarena, because of the preponderance of Kama. Kama means what? Desire. All kinds of Raga Dvesha. So, unbridled Raga Dvesha is called Kama. Kamakarena. So, Kamakarena Ayuktaha Nibadhyate. The Ayukta, the one who is not into a Karma Yoga lifestyle, is what? Nibadhyate, is bound. How is the person bound? Phale sakto nibadhyate. The person is first bound to a particular outcome, particular result of the action, and then when that is not gained, which is the rule of life anyway, because one doesn't control the action, one cannot gain whatever one wants, and when one doesn't gain whatever one wants, there is fear, there is insecurity, there is anger, pain, sorrow, each time regurgitated. So the choice is very clear. Lord Krishna says, how do you want to live? Arjuna, and by Arjuna, the rest by extension, all of us. How do you want to live? Is the question asked. Do you want to live in disharmony, conflict, fear, insecurity, and second-guessing yourself all the time? Or would you like to just enjoy some peace and quiet? So Karma Yoga, if you practice, you get tranquility. Even if you don't get tranquility, everybody around you gets tranquility because you are practicing Karma Yoga and they don't have to deal with you. Thank God. It's worth it. It's a nice gift to give to friends and relatives and people you live with. This is very nice. And so, ayuktaha kamakarena nibadhyate. And then the next verse is also very nice. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasyaste sukham vashi navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvanna karayan. Navadvare pure dehi. Dehin. Deha means body. The one who is in the body is called Dehin. In means in the body. Dehin. So who is this Dehin? Indweller of the body. Indweller of this city. Pure Dehi. Pure Dehi means in this city. It's not a city. It is a citadel. What is a citadel? A fortress. Fortress means you can go in but not come out. That is what it is. So same thing with this body, you can go in but not come out, and then you can watch what is happening because there are many ways of knowing. 9 orifices are given for the entry and exit of essential things, and then and that's how this citadel functions. What does the Ayukta say? Ayukta means not endowed, not introduced to Karma Yoga, or the one who is not open to Karma Yoga will say, I am trapped. I am trapped in this body, mind, sense complex. How can I be happy? Like the pot complaining. What does the pot complain? I am pot space complaining. I am trapped in this pot. Even if I do like this, I don't come out. What shall I do? Like the pot space complaining that it is trapped, so too the person who is ayukta feels trapped in the body, mind, sense complex, whereas the person who is endowed with a lifestyle of karma yoga, what does that person feel? That person, sukham aste, is happily living in this so-called limited body, mind, sense complex, because one knows one is free. One knows one is free. So even though the body is finite, and even though I happen to be as though living in this body, I am still all pervasive. Like space saying, I am in the pot. True, I am in the room. True, I am in the closet, and my new name is Closet Space. True. But what is that? But I am all pervasive. I am not just in the closet, I am not just in the room, I am all pervasive. So, Navadvare Pure Dehi Naiva Kurvan Nakarayan Sukham Aste. Aste Sukham remains happily. Why? Because the person is a Vashi. Vashi means a master of their emotions, master of Ragadveshas. So Vashi, Sukham Aste, remains happily. And then what else is there? Sarva Karmani Manasa Sanyasya, having given up all the actions and the results of actions mentally. The person who is as though trapped in this 9-gated city, 9-windowed city, is still remaining very happily without any feeling of finitude. And then the verses 14, 15, 14, 15 and 16 answer the sticky question, where did this doership come from? How come I became a doer? Very big question. And then the what answer to not give? The answer to not give is because of Ishvara. Ishvara gave me doership. No. Why you are always taking Ishvara's side? I am not taking Ishvara's side. Why? Because you are that Ishvara. Okay? There is no difference between you and Ishvara. So you cannot say that Ishvara made me have doership. What is Ishvara? Atma. Is doership intrinsic to the Atma? The verse says, whatever that verse is, the next verse says, no. Na kartritvam na karmani srijate prabhuhu. Prabhuhu here is Atma. Prakarshena bhavati, that which is there in all beings. Na srijati. Atma does not create doership. Atma does not create action and then doership. Atma does not say you have to be working like a mad person all day long, you have to be doing this. Atma never said that. Where did it say that? Show me. It has never said that. And the next verse also says that the Atma does not take on the papa or punya of anybody. And what is the cause? The cause of all this is what? The cause of doership is? Ignorance. That's all it is. Because this we should not forget. Because everything is blamed on what? Ignorance. Yes. Everything, this is kind of nice. This is very, very nice. I like it. Because from self-blame, you can blame ignorance. Yeah, it is actually a very nice thing. And when the ignorance goes away, you will stop blaming. No problem. This is actually wonderful. You just blame the ignorance. Just say, it's your fault. In fact, this is what is, when a young child is initiated into the tradition, one of the rites of passage, the child is told to repeat, Kamah karta, nahang karta, kamah karayita, nahang karayita. I am not the doer. This is an 8-year-old, 9-year-old child is made to repeat. Kama made me do it. Manyuho karta. Manyuho akarshit. Kamaha akarshit. Kamo akarshit, manyur akarshit. Means anger made me do it. Desire made me do it. I am not the doer. I am not even the doer by proxy. I neither do nor make anybody do. What a tradition. It's just so amazing. This is what the child is taught. And this is what is repeated. Every year it is repeated. This mantra is repeated just to remind ourselves that this is not what is going on. What is going on is not that, I am not the doer. Even as a child, I am not the doer. Even as an old person, I am not the doer. Now also, I am not the doer. And then there are only two things. What is that? Kama and anger, krodha. Kama, krodha make me do this. And what is the cause of kama, krodha? We traced the life tree, family tree of Ajnanam yesterday. What is the patriarch? Atma Ajnanam. Ajnanam and Avidya got married. And Ajnanam and Avidya had a son, Kama. And then what? Karma, grandson. And then Papa Punya, great grandchildren. This is how it is. So, then this is, so when I know that this is what is this, Ajnanam is the cause, then immediately I have to take steps. I have to be jnana abhimukha. I have to take steps to make myself orient towards this knowledge. The Karma Yoga helps me to orient towards this knowledge rather than just be in this place of complaining, fear, etc., etc., etc. So the Karma Yoga reorients me to be in this knowledge, to be oriented towards this knowledge, which is a very, very beautiful thing. And so when the Karma Yoga reorients me to understand this knowledge as myself, then a beautiful thing happens. What is that happens? It says, Ajnanena avritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavaha. The very next verse is going to say this. Ajnanena avritam jnanam tena muhyati jantavaha. Yeah, doesn't matter. I just said it so that we can just look at it. So, Ajnanena avritam jnanam. So what is this Ajnanam? It's just that it's not that it is something new. That Jnanam which you seek is already there. Where? Right there where you are looking for it. In the Antakarana, that Jnanam of yourself as Akarta, Abhokta is there. But what has happened is that there is a temporary lapse. And what is the cause of this lapse? It is like an eclipse. Avritam, eclipsed by, covered by Ajnanam. It is covered by Ajnanam. The Ajnanam is like the shadow of the moon which comes on the sun. How small is the moon? Tell me. Tiny. How big is the sun? Huge. But yet, when they are in one line, the sun and the moon are in one line, the moon looks to be swallowing the sun whole. But it is an apparent reality. It's not really happening. It's an apparent reality where the moon looks to be swallowing the sun. And in fact, even if you say, oh no, the sun is eclipsed, what are you really saying? In fact, it is because of the eclipse we can even see the sun. Sorry, because of the sun we can see the eclipse. Otherwise the eclipse, if it was really eclipse, we would not see anything. But because of the sun, we can see the eclipse. And that's why we have to protect the eyes, because it's very powerful radiation comes. And so that we can't gaze into the eclipse directly. Because of the radiation, it can just burn the cornea of the eye. And so therefore, this Ajnanam is like the disk of the moon catching hold of the sun. And it is temporary, but lasts a few minutes, the eclipse. Maybe a few hours. The lunar eclipses are longer. So maybe a few hours. Doesn't matter, but still it's just very temporary and very finite. So like the eclipse, the Ajnana fills up the mind, tena muhyanti, thereby deluding all the people. Very beautifully put. Thereby deluding all the people. The Ajnana is, is what? Is overpowering the knowledge, but then tesham adityavat jnanam prakashayati tatparam. With the knowledge of the self gained from the teacher, now what happens? This self as Brahman is revealed like the sun which was previously covered by the clouds, covered by the eclipse. Once the eclipse goes away, the sun reveals everything. And here also the sunny disposition, the sun-like Brahman reveals itself. Very beautiful. And then verses 17 to, let's see, 17, 18, 19, definitely, 20, yes. Yeah, till about the end of the chapter, till about 26, 17 to 26 is the description of the Jnani. This is the beauty of the Bhagavad Gita. In chapter 14, there is a description of the Jnani. And in chapter 5, there is a description of a Jnani. Chapter 2, there is a description of the Jnani. Chapter 12, there is a description of the Jnani. Why? Because it helps to have these frequent descriptions from different standpoints so that one can understand how to be. It all helps us to grow up. So we look at some of these verses. Number 17 is a case in point, very beautiful. Tad buddhayas tadatmanaha tannishta tatparaganaha gacchantya punaravrittim Jnana nirdhuta kalmashaha. Yeah. So then, when the eclipse of ignorance leaves the sun-like mind, and then the mind is free of ignorance, then what happens? You become like all these people discussed here. Tad buddhaya. Tat means Brahman. So the one who has Brahma Buddhi in everything, sees Brahman in everything. Tadatmanaha. Not only sees Brahman in everything, sees Brahman in one's own self. Tannishtha. Because that is the lifestyle to which they are dedicated, that is the goal, that is the end for them. That is the lifestyle for them. And then tatparayanaha, the goal of their life is to understand oneself as Brahman. And then gachanti. Gachanti means after the body falls, na punaravrittim. They do not come back. There is no reason to come back. What is the reason of birth? Karma. And the karma for the Jnani is totally gone. Which karma is there for the Jnani? No karma is there for the Jnani. Prarabdha goes away in the wake of knowledge. Sanchita also goes away in the wake of knowledge. Agami also goes away. None of the things are there. So then, gachanti apunaravrittim. They don't come back because they don't have a reason to come back. The desires are resolved. The knowledge that I am Brahman is resolved. And then there are no likes and dislikes competing and wanting attention. So there is no reason to come back. And who are they? Jnana nirdhuta kalmashaha. The Atma Jnanam has washed off, that's why I kept thinking of laundry machine, has washed off. Nirdhuta means washed off. What has it washed off? Kalmashaha. All the raga dvesha based difficulties, in speech, in relating to people, in relating to myself, all the difficulties have been washed off. By whom? Those are called tatparayanaha, tannishtaha, tadatmanaha, and then jnana nirdhuta kalmashaha, they are called. What happens to them? While living they have shanti, they are free. After death also they don't need to come back. But we do need to come back tomorrow. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.